Simon is a regular viewer and contributor and seems to travel almost as far as I do. So, thank you, Simon, for your latest offering. I'm Dave. Welcome to Dave Takes It On. Let the EV charging price war begin. Well, I recently ventured right down into Cornwall. On the way, I stopped off for a filming session at Exeter Services. This location is home to 32 Tesla V3 250 kilowatt chargers, exclusive to Tesla owners, and also 24 GridServe 350 kilowatt chargers. Add in a couple of GridServe Type 2 11 kilowatt chargers, and this is still the largest charging hub I have visited, and probably still the largest in the UK. We're second in line to one which is actually open and working, appears to be Rugby Moto Services on the M6, with Tesla having 28 V3 250 kilowatt chargers and GridServe a mere 12 350 kilowatt chargers. Well, on a recent visit to GridServe down at the Braintree hub, I did actually discuss the pricing and learned a number of important facts. The main thrust of my questioning was what would happen when Tesla opens up a supercharger with the V4s and opens them to non-Tesla drivers at a location where another major network, like GridServe or Apple Green or Ionity, also has chargers. Well, from my meeting, it seems that GridServe may have failed to accurately predict what would actually happen, as their original business plan appears to have a very narrow price difference between them and non-Tesla owner price per kilowatt hour. I believe they probably predicted a difference of around 10 or 15 pence, and that sort of difference is one that can be handled with special offers, better service, free coffee, or similar measures. As it turned out at the time of my visit, the price difference between an open-to-all Tesla supercharger and GridServe is actually well over 20 pence and can be as much as 30 pence, and that's assuming no membership is involved. Well, in a turn-up-and-drive scenario in a non-Tesla EV, you could charge at GridServe with contactless or Tesla with contactless, no membership. At today's prices, GridServe is a universal 79 pence per kilowatt hour, day and night, everywhere in the UK. Well, Tesla price varies, but it averages somewhere around about 50p off-peak and about 58p peak. And that is a huge difference and is not one to be ignored either by GridServe or by non-Tesla EV drivers. Well, by the way, for Tesla drivers, we have no worry about what Tesla charges non-Tesla drivers. In fact, many would prefer the peak rate to be 79 pence or higher on a V4 charger, so they would not end up with queues of non-Teslas blocking their superchargers. Well, selfish attitude maybe, not my opinion, but that is the opinion of a good number of Tesla owners I've spoken to. Well, this battle will happen, and it has been made even more critical because last year GridServe took on a whole pile of debt, or should I say borrowing capacity, from a dedicated green fund, the largest in the UK, to the tune of £500 million. A simply massive event, and one that sparked an equally massive installation spree, followed very closely by a price hike from the then 67p up to 79p per kilowatt hour. It seems the lenders or donors or enablers need a healthy return on their investments. Equally massive was the launching of Apple Green Electric, not to be confused with Apple Green Group, which is heavily fossil fuel based. Apple Green Electric is driven and funded by a special green renewable energy trust or fund, and they also seem to find, well, in this case 77p per kilowatt hour, a decent return. I launched a video recently covering my local supercharger location, Charnock Richard Services on the M6, where there is a supercharger already, exclusive to Teslas, and a very new installation by Apple Green with 8 dual bay 180 kilowatt chargers priced at 79p. Well, when all this does happen, I predicted a major war. Tesla, I believe, would not pander to them. They're on their own mission to make charging cheaper and faster. It's believed they do make a very healthy profit, as they not only make their own chargers at about a quarter the cost of the rest on the market, but they also subsidise many of the chargers via the solar PV panels, which they make, and the Megapack grid-connected battery packs, which they also make, and they're all built in-house. Well, these factors mean that Tesla can charge significantly less than their competition and still make a very healthy return. And on top of that, there is the underlying Tesla mission statement to speed up the transition to renewable energy economy. Usually they achieve this by cutting costs dramatically, which then allows them to cut their prices. I launched a video a while back predicting that one day this would be a major flashpoint for a huge EV charging price war. That day is here, and the actuality is quite dramatic. But let me put you Tesla drivers' minds at rest. The price that Tesla charge non-Tesla drivers is important to Tesla. If we drivers do find all the superchargers clogged with slow-charging non-Tesla EVs, preventing Tesla owners from charging, it will not go down well. They are fully aware of this. So that first skirmish has now happened. Thanks to Simon, I can now report that at the Frankley services, southbound on the M5, just south of Birmingham, Tesla has installed 16 V4 chargers and opened them instantly to non-Tesla driver, right alongside a lovely brand new bank of 12 GridServe 350 kilowatt chargers. Away we go. The pricing's really interesting. See, we Tesla owners, we pay about 55p peak and about 44p off peak, and peak being between about 4 p.m. and 8 p.m, generally speaking. Here, non-Tesla owners are being charged 74 pence peak and 59p off peak. And that price is fascinating. It does show that Tesla really does want to look after us Tesla drivers and owners in every way they can. 74 pence is by far the dearest price of any Tesla supercharger in the UK. Previous to this, the dearest I could find was actually at the Trafford Centre, and they were charging about 68p peak. 74 is a real message to non-Tesla drivers. Don't stop here, just go to GridServe. See, off-peak, when the chargers are mostly empty, we don't have an issue with slow-charging EVs. There are usually plenty of spare bays. Here, of course, there are 16 bays in total. But at peak time, we really do care. If a Tesla driver is charging at peak time, it is usually not out of choice, but because they have to and are thus often in a hurry. Finding the chargers blocked with slow-charging EVs at this time then becomes a very important matter. Pricing this at 74 pence means a number of drivers will prefer the GridServe. So if you have a Hyundai, Kia, Porsche Taycan, Lotus Electra, then you will likely get a faster charge on the GridServe because the V4s are currently throttled back to 250 kilowatts. The GridServe are 350 kilowatts, and many of them are capable of doing it. I can see many drivers choosing a faster charge at GridServe and just paying the extra 5p. So, Tesla has calculated their strategy, and this one favours very heavily Tesla drivers and Tesla the company, because there is a hidden feature at play here. Turn up and charge with contactless is one way of using an open-to-all supercharger. The other way is to become a Tesla member. Now, for £10.99 a month, you typically get a 20, 25, maybe 30% discount, bringing the price down to what we Tesla drivers already pay. And it makes sense to do this if someone charges a couple of times a month. But here, the difference at Frankley services can be as much as 30p per kilowatt hour, or around about 40% discount. And at that price, almost every single non-Tesla driver will find it very financially beneficial to become a member immediately. There are some serious brains behind the Tesla strategy in so many areas that we only catch on to much later. This is a strategy that must have been in the planning for probably almost a decade, and they just waited till the time was right to pounce. Yeah, I know, I'm going to be accused of being a Tesla fanboy, but I will repeat yet again. Anyone who spends a serious amount of time on the road and needs to use public chargers will find Tesla absolutely irresistible. The number, location, price, simplicity of use and, key amongst all else, the reliability of their chargers is second to none. And if you don't believe me, a recent venture, Charge Enterprises, and this was funded by General Motors and Stellantis, was set up to take on Tesla. This week, they just declared bankruptcy. Not Chapter 11, they've just gone bankrupt. And they're not the only one. The list is long. Many try, few succeed. Well, Tesla does have proprietary software that monitors, amongst other things, well, in fact, amongst all other things, their superchargers. They predict demand and build at a lightning pace where they're needed. And that pace is slowed only by the others involved, like DNOs, which in the UK connect them to the grid, or more realistically, take forever to get round to connecting them to the grid. Tesla's solution here is a really great one, but this is merely the first in a long line of superchargers that are scheduled to open this year, and many, in fact most of them, will be open to all chargers. The pace of this war will increase and the impact will be savage. Companies and trusts and investment banks spending $500 million on EV chargers in the belief that they could milk the public at 79 pence per kilowatt hour will wake up soon and find that they'd already lost the battle before they'd even begun spending on the EV chargers. It will be a bloodbath, and I predict that Elon Musk has already won. Time will tell, but you heard it here first. I'm Dave. Well, thanks very much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please click the like button. And if you would, please subscribe. It makes such a difference to us as a new channel. If you click the bell icon, the notification, you'll be notified the next time we launch a video. And a massive, massive, massive thank you, last but not least, to our Patreon members. This side of the business is growing dramatically. We've had our most successful month ever, and thank you so much for your support for the channel. I'm Dave.